Some years back, the World Bank's Environmental Economics Department set out to make an assessment on the relative contributions of various kinds of capital to economic development. So they want to look at the various kinds of capital, all right, their contribution to economic development in a place, in an organization, in a nation. Its study was, where is the wealth of nations? Where does it really lie? Meaning, so what they did was they started measuring capital for the 21st century and began by defining natural capital as the sum of non-renewable resources, which will include things like oil, natural gas, coal, mineral resources, cropland, that's farmland, pasture lands, forested areas. Produced or built capital is what many of us think of when we think capital. The sum of machinery, equipment, infrastructures, structures that you have. We say that's the capital. The non-renewable resources, the oil, the natural gas, the coal, mineral resources. Now, but once these values, the values of all these were added up by the World Bank, the economists found something big was still missing: the vast majority of the world's wealth. In other words, you add everything together, still you see that when you add all that and you look at the wealth of the world, all that resources didn't measure up to the wealth that was in the world. So if one simply adds up the current value of a country's natural resources and produced or built capital, like we explained here, machinery, equipment, structures, there is no way one can account for that country's level of income. So they found that we had all these things, the nation had much more money than those things. The rest is the result, this is what they discovered, of intangible factors such as trust among people in society. That's why honesty is so important. An efficient judicial system, and a few other things. Human capital and the value of institutions, don't forget this, constitute the largest share of wealth in virtually all countries. In other words, what was really generating wealth in all countries were human capital and the value institutions contributed. Once one takes into account all of the world's natural resources and produced capital, 80% of the world's wealth of rich countries and 60% of the wealth of poor countries are in intangible forms. In other words, you add up all the infrastructure, you add up all the structure, you add up all the natural resources, you add up all the oil, everything for rich countries only constituted minerals 20% of their wealth. The bottom line is rich countries are largely rich because of the skills of their population and the quality of institutions supporting economic activity.